side, baby, what's your angle? No, it's just a good time.
All right, let's get down with the get down. So, December 9th, 2022, that was my wedding date. That was my originally scheduled wedding date. The video that I will share a link to the video where I discussed getting or reconnecting with someone after going through this whole hoorah regarding the K-1 visa and everything. So you could listen to that story to understand and get a back end or get the full gist of what was happening. But yeah, on the date, I would say when it was time to make that commitment, he got cold feet. He did not show. We talked to each other every freaking day from the time where he decided to actually present himself. And it was very hard. But I had to woman up and listen and understand from his perspective of things. It was hard. It was so hard, but I did it. Hey y'all, what's up, Wagwan? My name is Vonnie G, also go by Vibe, and you're watching my channel. A lot of the different things that I do, I show you a lot of things relative to Jamaica and just life in general for me. I do show and share a lot of content from Jamaica because I feel like Jamaica is my second home, and I am in the process of making it my main home. However long this process is going to take, that's fine with me. I am on this mission of being able to do so solely on my own, so no one can say that they helped me do anything. I mean, outside of the advice and things that I receive, but like I don't want to go through no marriage visa. I don't want to go through nothing relative to family, none of that, because it wasn't really set to be easy for me, and I'm okay with that. So put blood, sweat, and tears into it. I appreciate it a whole lot more and hold it more close to my heart as opposed to any other method. You don't have to agree with it. That's just the way that I'm doing things to be able to satisfy my own soul. And that's what it is. This video just, I don't know. I woke up and just realized I was like, I have not shared this. It's my story to share, my decision to share, and it is what it is. It's easier for me to be able to talk on it because you hear it straight from the horse's mouth. I like to make sure that I'm keeping respect for all people involved, because at the end of the day, we were talking about, it was love, you know, there was no love lost. I guess that's okay to say, but we grow and we glow in different directions in life, and I'm okay with accepting and admitting to that. So, yeah. We're gonna start by saying, in no way, shape, or form was the act of what occurred not fucked up. It was messed up. It really was. But in my understanding and acknowledgement of fear within each of us, I cannot call myself a human being if I'm going to just completely eliminate the fact that we are all humans. We all have things that we are scared of. And the ways that we allow ourselves to be scared of these different things, they differ from one person to the next. Yeah. So I'm not going to I'm not going to sit up here and be like, you know what, F him, F that, F this, F whatever. I connect to people differently, and although it's a painful journey in doing so, but I've been like this. I've been like this forever. I've been like this forever. It's a blessing and a curse. So, a lot of the people that have done so wrong to me in my life, I have this crazy ability to be able to forgive them and embrace them. Because I can't take things personally when it comes to that. I just can't allow you to be in a position to hurt me the same way twice. There's a difference. If you're willing to speak on behalf of what happens or whatever, things like that, and you have remorse, yes, it's easy to be able to forgive. But you also have to learn how to be able to forgive in life without receiving apologies as well. Man, that shit's hard. It's hard as hell, but it's so worth it. So this man that I had the privilege and honor of being friends with him before we became lovers. And I feel like that was one of the most beautiful things to set the tone for everything else. But in our friendship, in admitting, I had a hard time with romantic relationships. I was hearing this man tell me how much he wanted to be with me, how much he loved me and was in love with me and all of these things, but I wasn't accepting it and couldn't really put two and two together of why I couldn't accept it, because I do believe that the universe speaks to us, especially to us those of us that are considered gifted. That's a whole nother topic, but sometimes it's easier to go against the grain and do things that we shouldn't do. I don't know. I feel like I can't even go into that because it's a whole lot more to explain. But I tried to rush towards his direction while I was in this other direction as well. And so I messed up some relationships on this side, trying to go over here and appease to this man because of what he was telling me. There were some things that he was showing me at the time and how he was, trying to be true and trying to be the one for me and all of this stuff. But again, my soul just was not taking it. It wasn't. So I ended up in this other relationship completely outside of both these ends. I went to a whole nother relationship. And in that, I felt like we were good too. I did feel like we were good. We weren't great, but we were good. And, but I realized I was tired of fighting a battle with you too, bro. And I ain't got it in me. But nonetheless, I finally ended that. I didn't realize how much and badly I had hurt him at the time. It took about another year or two before I realized how much I had hurt him. And I was remorseful of it. But at the same time, I don't feel like we were meant to be together either. So it wasn't something that I regretted, if that makes sense. But anywho, nonetheless. So ended things with this one, went back to this relationship and just was listening to what he said, but I wasn't allowing myself to pay attention to the way he would treat me regarding it. He could say over and over again, and he did say that he wanted to get married. He asked me to marry him, and I was just falling in love with the words, honey. Fell in love with the words instead of the actions. Falling in love with the words instead of the actions led me up to, like, there was a lot of different situations that had occurred that should have been hints to me. I ignored those hints. I ignored those red flags. I ignored the universe trying to speak to its child. The child is me. And I just continued to move forward with going by what he said. And with doing that, the day that I arrived, which was a week before the scheduled wedding ceremony, I had friends and family fly out to Jamaica. The wedding was to be held in the grill. I flew into Kingston to meet up with the man I was supposed to be getting married to. He was nowhere to be found. He was supposed to be picking me up from the airport, nowhere to be found. At the drop of a dime, I had to get an Airbnb, like some type of accommodations for myself, because I could not find this man. I met up with a few other friends that were living there. They were helping me look for him. Talked to a few other friends, including my ex at the time. This man didn't owe nothing to me. And speaking about my ex, but yet he was, at the drop of a dime, helpful in trying to understand how could this man do something like that to me. At that time, it didn't really mean much. I mean, it meant a lot. I don't want to say it didn't mean much. It just is that as time has come along in my life, I see and value the action of him more. And I appreciate him a whole lot more. And it made me feel some type of way for the way that I basically neglected him in the first place. I'm going to throw this out there. So again, we talk about Jamaican men. Jamaican men and how they are. Like this situation was one of the prime examples of why I refuse to put all of these men in one box, because seeing, recognizing, and being able to acknowledge the feelings that were behind and how many feelings I hurt in my own selfish ways at the time. Like, that brings me so much hurt. And I truly and deeply apologized, like, to these individuals, specifically about how things unfolded and about my selfish ways. And we've had some real ass conversations. Damn, we have had some real ass conversations. People have feelings, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their backgrounds, regardless of them being men, regardless of them being women, regardless of economical status, regardless of anything. People have feelings. And when you put people in boxes and specific categories, you neglect their feelings. You neglect the facts that they are human beings. And I just was like, I made a promise to myself I was not going to do that anymore. And once I was able to change that up, life changed for me. And that's the road I will take going forward. So we don't find this dude. Went to his house and everything, whatever. Didn't want to answer the door. I get a phone call from him eventually, and he tells me he's in another country. Child, I about lost my shit. How are you in another country when we're supposed to be getting married in a matter of days? I don't know. I dealt with it. A lot of different details had happened throughout those few days before I had left Kingston to go to Negril. And like shout outs and kudos to my people that held me down in Negril. Because without them, I honestly don't know where I would have ended up mentally. Mentally, it tore me apart. I had never been through anything like that. Never. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to maneuver. I didn't know how to just deal. But I did. And I did so with the best grace that I possibly could. Because again, I can't say that I had loved this man and then spit so much dirt on his name. So that was one of the major things. A lot of times we get hurt and the first reaction that we have is to spit dirt on people's names. You can't do that, especially if it's somebody that you considered yourself loving or in love with. You can't speak of being in love or loving somebody if you're willing to do anything to hurt or harm them. When you love somebody, it is a mission of yours to protect them. It's a mission of yours to make sure that you're protecting yourself as well, but you're also protecting them. Not to try to make them look innocent by any way, shape, or form, but that same love that I came into everything with is the same love I'm going to end things with as well. I'm not going to be this horrible person to you, because then that takes away the fact of my love being genuine. I can't consider my love being genuine if I'm going to take that away from you. I'm a woman, but I'm a woman that stands 10 toes down for love. I choose love first and foremost. Choose love first and foremost of myself. Then I choose love for the love that I have or share with other people. So I'm just a different breed. I'm a different breed. And yeah, that needed to happen. So the show went on. Instead of like having the exact events, I guess you want to say. So there was no wedding ceremony. There was no wedding reception. However, we had parties. We had a party for everything that occurred. And anybody that loved me genuinely and wholeheartedly, they did still show up. They came and they enjoyed themselves. I had to deal with a lot of naysayers. It was already bad enough before the standing up even occurred. I dealt with a lot of people spitting dirt on my name and on me. That helped me realize, I'm like, man, you could be the nicest person in the world, but people don't take on to you being this genuine soul. There are people that hate you for the simple fact that they ain't you. And I couldn't understand it. It was so hurtful. It took years to understand it. But in that moment and in that time, sometimes I felt like I was better off dead. Because I was like, I didn't do anything to these bitches. I mean, I can say it like that now, but I couldn't say it like that then. But now I'm like, I didn't do anything to these bitches, and these bitches hating me, being so mean and disrespectful and just evil. How can you be so evil? But I realize miserable people do a lot of miserable shit. And I can't help a miserable ass person. So, I mean, again, like I said, a lot of lessons learned after the fact. But going through it, that mess was hard. It was so hard, but I did it. Got through everything, had the time of my life at the same time while just kind of mourning. I was in mourning. in mourning of a relationship because I didn't know what exactly to expect. Like I said, we were talking every day, and we had these conversations about whether or not we were going to try it again. And I'm like, but you took away the brand newness of me being able to do this like I can't do this the same way even if we did try it again. I was I'm a young woman, or I'm a woman, and I looked forward to the day that I got married, and all of that was taken from me. Everything was taken from me. So I had to go about it in a different way if I decided to forgive and we moved on and tried it again. But I decided to spend a little bit more time in Jamaica after the dust had settled and after everybody had left. I took myself to a different parish where I could be by myself and be able to just be in my thoughts. And it was the best decision that I ever made. I was so glad I went to a different area, just embraced what was, and just able to come through in my thoughts, my feelings, and then until the time where I ended up going back home to the States. When I went back to the States, the mess that I walked into, especially going back to work, of all places, going to work and dealing with the rumor mill, the gossip, and all of this stuff, that was so hard. It was so hard. Because it's like, on one hand, you want to defend yourself. Because it's like, how the hell you going to sit up here and say this or make this assumption of what took place or what was what, and you have no clue. You have no idea what I went through or what I'm going through still. And yet you in my face, I got to come to this place every fucking day. That mess was hard. It was hard. When I tell you I wanted to run away, I was trying to find ways to run away, but I just couldn't. I could not at the time. I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. But I just faced it. I faced it. I dealt with it. And boy, that was hard. It was hard, but it did nothing but help me grow. So fast forward to present day, I am not in a relationship with him. I have made it clear that we cannot be in a relationship. I don't see how we could be in a relationship. It's just a whole world of hurt. I can't really go into more detail with it. I mean, there's a lot more that was behind all of this as well, leading up to my decision of whether or not we could be in a relationship or not. So it's not like I couldn't acknowledge his feelings. I could acknowledge his feelings totally, especially after he was open and forward with why he was feeling a certain type of way. I acknowledge your feelings, I do. However, a lot of the other stuff going on, we can't do this. We can't. But I respect him as a person, as an individual, and as a friend. So that is something can't deny, won't deny. It just is what it is. And that's where it is. So that is my story of being stood up for my wedding. My first and only wedding. Is what it is. But I don't know. We all go through different things where it challenges us to grow into a different type of person, or to evolve into a different type of person. It challenges us to evolve into our better selves. That's how I felt all of this was for me. and my ability to be able to accept folks for who they are. Now, when you accept people for who they are, you choose which direction you go with them. Doesn't mean you have to settle at all. You don't have to settle. But you choose what direction you go with them. And that's that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Like as mentioned, like if you like this, you want more content like this, subscribe so that you are notified whenever I post anything. And yeah, let's move forward in life together progressively. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay kind, be kind always. Bye.
Tell me what's your table, numbers on the net again, yeah, we gon' lap them. In the set, one set, high tap dance, spin about the bands. Backstage, meet the band. Press pass, head on my chest.